Hey guys, how's it going? It's Polly. So today I'm going to be showing you how to make this SJ4000, SJ8000 Eken H9 Chinese clone of GoPro 4 kind of camera into a more naked camera. So it's lighter for flying in an FPV drone. I just want to start off by saying if you're planning to buy one of these cameras, for the purpose of flying FPV, I would recommend getting a Cadex Loris or one of those split cameras instead, because those are much more, they offer higher quality in my opinion, and they're more suited. They're also lighter for the same purpose, so I recommend those if you're planning to get it. But if you're planning to also do other sports and use this kind of as like a GoPro, then yeah, I guess this will suffice. So this right here is my SJ8000, but I think the construction of these other Chinese clones will be similar. And basically, these are two 3D printed brackets over here, and they mount to something that looks like this. And so this is it going to focus? Okay, so yeah, this just hooks over the end, as you saw before, and is held in place by these two pieces on either side, the back and front. And so that prevents sideways movement, and this hook prevents the upwards movement. And obviously these two pieces prevent back and forth movement. I just want to say that you may need a piece of paper to hold on top to add some tension. To prevent jello, maybe. I haven't tested it, to be honest, yet. But if you're worried about some wiggle room and the tolerance is not being perfect, then a piece of paper is, I mean, it's not that heavy. It is slightly heavy, but you know, it's not bad. And the main point I did when designing something like this is I didn't want to be destructive, so there's no cutting. All you have to do is disassemble it, and if you want to revert it, then you can reassemble it, and that's exactly what I'm going to do next right now. These are my parts that I put into this bag. I don't even know what this bag is for. I might have just found it in my basement. Well, let me just show you the parts I'll be removing. So this is the front plate over here that's going to be replaced. Some of these are fragile, especially watch out for the ribbon cables. Here's the front plate. This probably looks familiar, so there you go. This is the screen. This one was a bit violent to pry off, but you know, we got it in the end. And here's the camera ring, or the ring around the camera. I also should mention, I don't know how fragile this thing is because I've never crashed it. And oh, here's the battery tray. Obviously we're removing the battery as well. And here's the battery cover. So how I power this camera is through the USB port. So I've hooked it up to a 5-volt in ground pad, and I just have a USB port over here on my drone. And then when it's mounted, I just plug it in and it'll turn on. And then you can either connect it to Wi-Fi, or you can just press the play button if you already have the settings dialed in. So it'll be mounted like this, and there's just a mounting hole pattern over here. And you can look at that and figure it out for your specific drone, or you can just zip tie it if you want. I mean, that's not going to hurt. But yeah, it just goes like that. Sorry, I think this is an old mount. This is, the new one's going to fit. But yeah, so it just goes on top into the two slots. Alright, so let's get this reassembled. And, oh, you know, one more thing before we start is I'm going to get a weight on this. So a normal GoPro is around, what, 100 grams? So this won't be as light as an SMO 4K or as light as a naked GoPro, just because this is not destructive. Or at least in my opinion, it's not destructive because you can revert back to it. But the weight is 32.97 grams, and this is an old, sorry, excuse me, this is an old mount, so the newer mount will be different, but it's, I mean, it's basically the same thing. It's just slightly bigger. And I don't know about the infill on this. I think it's probably around 20%, but you can go even lighter if you want. It should be still pretty durable. And that's going to bring it up to 42.2 grams. So that's about a 10 gram weight difference. So this isn't super light. I mean, if you just wanted to like just smack it on. It's zip tied. I mean, you could do that too, but it depends on your scenario, obviously. So let's get reassembling. Alright, so here's the camera. Ignore that massive bump there. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to start by prying this plate off. And you can do this by, well, basically for this tutorial you'll need a screwdriver kit. That's one of the small ones, the precision screwdriver kit. This one I believe is, the one I'll be using is Phillips 000. So that's the tip I'll be using. And they use the same screw for all of them, I'm pretty sure. Like, all of the screws are the same. And I guess you can use a flathead for... You never use a flathead for actual screws, always just to pry stuff. So basically you just want to... You could probably use your fingernails and just get underneath this front plate. It shouldn't be held in by any glue. If you have any trouble, you can use a razor blade, which is not recommended. Or you can just use... what you can do is you can take off the battery cover at the bottom here. Oh, great. These battery covers are always tricky. You can take off the battery cover and then you can just lift it up. Using that edge. Don't stick your finger in and just pull the whole thing out. Just it's like a small lip inside. It's really hard to see with this camera because the lighting's quite dark for some reason. But yeah, just get your finger under there and then don't like pull up like that. Just carefully guide your fingernail throughout the whole thing. Ignore the black tape. The black tape is just there because ribbon cables tend to rip really easily. So now that you have it over here, what you can do is you can turn it the other way around and you should see the screen here. You can take out the micro SD card if you want, or you can just leave it in. Usually when disassembling stuff, it's good practice to take out the micro SD card slot. But I've already disassembled it and I know that's not going to be an issue. So basically what you do is you either get a razor blade. This one's going to be more tricky, is you got to pry up this corner here of the screen. Oh, I just scratched my screen. That's fine. I mean, you're not going to be using your screen too often. And you can actually replace the film if you're worried about it. This tutorial is basically for anyone who has an old action camera that's Chinese. Not really for anyone who wants to buy one. So if you're looking to buy one, just get a Loris. Try around the LEDs, it might help you. I tend to find the LEDs are the most helpful. You just peel it off a bit. Oh, I lost it. So the screen is not actually laminated to this plastic piece over here. It's just glued on. So it might come off with the screen, which is fine. So once you're at this stage, you just want to yank it this way. Towards the LEDs. So you want to start with the LED side. You don't want to start with this side because it has this weird tab piece over here. And you want to be careful with this ribbon cable over here as well. This ribbon cable is quite fragile. So what you want to do is with these two black tabs on either side of the ribbon connector, it's really quite difficult to see. I'll try to crank up the brightness a bit. You want to just move them forward each. And then just gently slide it out. So right now I don't have both of them out properly. I'm using a screwdriver. You probably shouldn't be doing this. Just be very gentle with this. Ribbon cables are very fragile, and they're costly mistakes to rip. So just pull that out like that. There's your screen. Alright, back to the front. So you have a bunch of screws here. The main ones are the ones in the four corners, but there could be one here, there could be one here. I don't think there should be one. And there might be one here as well. This one was covered by a sticker before, as you see. It's a quality control sticker, and they tend to do this. So if you're disassembling something, check under the stickers. If you really can't get something off, chances are there's something hiding under the sticker. So let me just switch bits to my Phillips 40. So we just unscrew it. Here's a pro tip. I'll probably be saying this in many of my videos. If you're disassembling something, get something like a pill box. These are like $2, $3 from AliExpress or the grocery store or your pharmacy. And then you can just take out the screws in the days of the week. So the first set of screws that are like the same, you put it in Monday, second set Tuesday, and then if you have the same set as the one from Monday, in a later step, I would usually start and put it into a later container. Usually you won't exceed 7. I've never had a disassembly of an electronic product where you need more than 7 screw slots, but you never know. So yeah, I'm just gonna unscrew all the ones that I just screwed in. And we'll be using these same screws for our later assembly. We just need 4 screws, so we won't need all of them. So you're gonna wanna find a clear plastic bag, preferably 2, one for the small screws and the other one for the parts. And then obviously you can put the leftover parts in the boxes in case you want to use them in the future. So the reason why I want to do this mod, and why a lot of people do naked GoPro mods, is because of sub 250. And to be honest, I've never seen anyone do a naked SJ4000 kind of thing. But I'm probably not the first one, to be honest. So there you go. Yeah, for some reason this camera doesn't really want to focus. But that's okay. You get the idea. Just unscrew all the screws that you see, and if it won't come off, then unscrew, check for any like stickers or anything like that, and usually you'll be able to find something. Okay, this is the last screw for me. There we go. So we take out those screws. I don't know, I've disassembled this camera multiple times, so I don't know how many screws you're supposed to have, but right now I have about 6. So what you're going to want to do is you want to lift up this button. Careful of this ribbon indicator, cable. I put tape over it. As you can see, that caused my camera to not fully enclose properly, as you saw in the previous shot, which is why there was a lump there. But I find that it helps protect the ribbon cable. And then you remove this. You can even remove the lens cap as well, but I mean that wasn't really necessary, so I guess that's you don't have to do that. So next we're going to want to remove this battery cover here, or this battery housing. So there should be some screws on the back here. There are 2 screws over here for the camera sensor, and you don't want to touch those. Those should stay where they are. You want to touch the ones, you want to remove the ones over here, here, or here. The first time I disassembled it, I had to make a cut just in the top right corner because I couldn't actually reach the screw. So don't be afraid to do that. I mean, if I said non-destructive, but I mean, I guess I had to do that, so I guess it's not the most non-destructive, but it's really better. I mean, you can still use your camera as a normal camera, even if you cut off that small piece of plastic, so you shouldn't be worried. Well, at least that's my standard of worrying. I'm not that refined, as you know already. So, yeah, so we just put this back in there. And let's see, we got another screw here. So right now we're, at 7 screws? So there should be around 9 screws in total, I guess. And I know you can't really see it, but like it's pretty simple. Just remove all the screws except for the 2 screws holding in the sensor. The lens. Sorry, not the sensor. Oh, I mean, it could be the sensor as well, but pretty sure it's just the lens. So don't remove these 2, beside the SD card slot, if that helps. And then we got the last one here. So they did a really weird thing while constructing this design of the camera, where they have a bunch of random like plastic pieces just sticking out everywhere. So basically the mold or the design that I have right now specifically fits this camera, but if you're knowledgeable in CAD, then you should be able to work something out for your own particular camera. This tutorial is mostly just for showing how these general cameras are constructed. I used to have a Eken H9. I didn't actually disassemble that one. I lost that one on a flight, which is unfortunate. Yeah. Okay, so with this part, you just want to be gentle, and in the reassembly part of this video, I showed myself, I actually put on this battery tray upside down. But feel free to flex it a bit, the plastic that is, because the plastic is flexible and it's quite durable. If you really can't figure it out, it could just be because you have one extra screw in there. Yeah, so you want to take your time with this one. It's a bit tricky, but you'll save quite a bit of weight if you're able to remove it, so it's quite worth it, I think. And you really don't want to break anything, so just be careful. I mean, honestly, this ribbon cable at the top here it's only, what, 4 connections? So it wouldn't be too difficult to resolder, in my opinion. But again, it's better not to break it. So here is the other piece. I just wiggled it out. I didn't really get that on camera, probably. Let me just get my scale. Oh, my scale's over here. Okay, so let's see how much weight we removed. So these are all the parts, I believe, that we're actually going to remove. I mean, you could take out the beeper if you want. You can take out the Wi-Fi module if you really want to. You can take out a lot of things, but I would say this is worth it. Like as much weight as you can remove. The main stuff that weighs them out is the screen and also the battery. So there you go. Yeah, that's just up to you. So removing around 15 grams, and we're going to be adding 4 grams. So there you go. Each of these brackets is about 2 grams, 2 grams, and 3 grams. So, oh, and we got this guy here. It's probably 1 gram. Oh, even less than that. So yeah, so it's really nothing. Like, I mean, it's not nothing, but it's not that much at the same time. Oh, sorry. Sorry, let me do that again. So let me just weigh these items. I forgot to put the scale in the shot because I wasn't looking at the shot. It's quite zoomed in. So this is 2.76 grams. This is 7.45 grams, 2.85 grams, 3.2 grams almost, and all of them together, you're looking at around 16.2 grams, plus some screws, but these screws are really tiny, so I wouldn't say it really weighs much. And you're adding around 4 grams, 5 grams, and also some adhesive and some foam, so about 4.5 grams. So yeah, now let me show you how I made my parts work with this camera here. So I have the front plate here. So first this thing is dangling, right? So what we got to do here is we got to secure it. So what I have to secure it is I usually use this really sticky double-sided tape that's kind of like a glue. I've seen people call it nano tape, so if that helps, it looks like this. So what you're going to want to do is you just want to grab a pair of scissors and just cut a corner off of it, like that. Sorry, I just did it off camera because it's really zoomed in. It's hard to get a compromise. Alright, and you want to just stick it on the back of the foam. And then you also want to peel off the plastic bit, of course, and then you just stick it on the back of this front piece. Where did I get the foam? It's one of the foam pieces that, like, I basically cut up if you buy a bind and fly quad or a ready to fly quad, usually the boxes come wrapped in foam. You just chop that up and use it. You know, recycling is good for the environment. It's not recycling, it's more reusing, but you get the idea. And then we're going to take the front bracket piece, which is over here. We're just going to place it on top and then screw down the 4 screws. So I had to print it multiple times to get the tolerances right. I'll just show you some of my previous designs for the front bracket piece. This is another front bracket piece. That's 3 tries, 4th try, 5th try. So it's going to take time if you're going to design it yourself, but just know it's possible. And they're really small and lightweight, so I mean, you're not wasting too much filament. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Okay, there we go. So there's 4. And so we're going to take these screws. Or just screw them in the corners. You don't have to go too tightly, really, because they aren't. It's basically just to hold it in place, because this plate will really be resting inside the housing. So, and the plate is basically there just to guide the mount left and right, the mount's left and right movement. And so as long as you're below the mount, you should be okay. So, or sorry, if you're below the frame of the camera, like over here, like this is below the frame of the camera. You just don't want it sitting above. I mean, you could have it sitting above, but then it's just supported by these 4 screws, and it's not going to be as strong, ideally, or as strong as it could be. And to be honest, these mods, sorry, I'm covering the camera, but I'm not really looking at it. I'm just looking at the camera itself. So hopefully it turns out all right. Oh, where are my other screws? There we go. Oh, also the good thing about these boxes is that they have lids. So if you like bump it and you remember to close the lid, like a responsible person, then you won't have spilled screws everywhere. So that's good. So we just screw this in. So to connect the camera to the Wi-Fi, usually you just have to press the up button or the down button. It depends on the camera, I think, after powering it on. Or you can, prior to doing this mod, you can set up the settings in the camera. And say you want to record at 1080p 60 for sure. Just set it up in the camera, and chances are when you boot it up, it will automatically go to those settings. And you just press OK to record, and the light will tell you when it's recording, and then you just press it again to stop recording. So there's the front plate, and then if you want to turn it on, you just push the button. Obviously I don't have a camera in there, and one of the reasons why I said this was non-destructive is because you also don't have to solder anything. You just plug in the micro USB and then you're good. So make sure you get a 5 volts pad. Don't put it to like the battery leads. And there we go. So this is the rear part, and you just put it in. It's not held in by anything. Is it going to come out? Not really. No, it's not going to come out. I mean, if you pull it out, it's super easy to pull out. It's basically just friction fit, but it also won't go left and right because these 2 parts at the end are restraining it. All right, and so we can try test fitting it again. So you want to slide it in like this, and then you'll find it falls into this hole here. And you want to just, since PLA is pretty flexible, you just want to bend it back, slide it further in, and let it rest at the top. You'll find it wiggles a bit. Well, it depends on yours, obviously. You're probably going to design a different mount for it, not my mount. But you can use the same idea, maybe. And then you just want to slide a piece of paper under there that's folded a couple times. And that will actually bend the plastic a bit, as you can see. And it's quite, it doesn't vibrate anymore, it doesn't rattle. So that's good. And I can show you some of my previous mount designs. So these ones are quite thin, so I was worried they were going to break off. And this one is not as, I call this G-stringing, where you just like chop off everything until it's like one tiny skeleton of what it used to be. But yeah, as you can see, there are various stages of being G-stringed. This one's not even that bad. It's quite full, actually. It looks like just normal underwear, like not boxers, but like, you know. Anyways, we have a previous mount as well. I believe this one's not as wide. And yeah, that's the video. Now that you get the idea of how to make a naked SJ4000 or anything, something like that. And I hope you enjoyed it. Have a nice day.